Before the movie began, I sat there in the theater looking at the title screen for The Foreigner that the studio had put on the screen and thought to myself, what if Chris Tucker shows up in this movie? If he does, automatic A+! Nope, didn't happen. The Foreigner is about a Chinaman and former war vet, played by Jackie Chan, who lives in London, and his daughter is killed in an act of terrorism. He goes searching for the killers, and his search leads him to Hennessy, played by Pierce Brosnan, a politician with a shady past. This movie really intrigued me because it really looked like Jackie Chan unhinged. This is a very different movie for Jackie Chan, and I applaud him for that. He's usually known for his kung fu comedic roles, and in this one he's more serious, and it's gritty and realistic, and his fighting style in this, he doesn't rely on kung fu all that much in this. It's really him getting his ass kicked because he's like 65 years old. He doesn't really venture too far into the action territory. It's more thriller based with action sequences sprinkled throughout, but Jackie Chan's performance in this movie as a more serious type role and a character who has a really tortured past and has lost the last remaining remnants of his life. He does a really good job portraying that. Pierce Brosnan is also really solid, and this might be his best post-James Bond work to date. He was having fun playing a more villainous, yet kinda likable, but at the same time still super shady type of character, and it really brought him out of his comfort zone. I like that. There are also times in this movie where you understand his character's viewpoint even though he's an asshole. It really speaks volumes to the political corruptness that goes on in the world today. Martin Campbell directs this movie, and he also directed Brosnan in Brosnan's first James Bond movie, GoldenEye, which happens to be one of my favorite Bond films, and he also directed Mel Gibson in the really underrated Edge of Darkness. The movie shares similarities to Edge of Darkness, quite a bit actually, and it's very similar to other movies in the genre, like Taken and Death Sentence. You know, those movies that are, oh, kidnap my kid and I'm gonna come at you with revenge because I have a particular set of skills. Those type of movies. They're all very similar, but Martin Campbell really proves that he can direct action and tension and stage it really well. And he can also provide realistic and entertaining thrills when he directs movies not named Green Lantern. Martin Campbell as a director. I like watching his work, except for Green Lantern, which is complete and utter shit, and has a poop monster in it. But he is really able to assemble really great teams of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, like the cameramen, and the visual effects teams, and the stuntmen. All of that is really well assembled. He does a really good job at providing great teams for that. As unoriginal as this movie may sound, it is a bit of a fresh take on the genre. However, the first 5 minutes of this movie are basically the same first 10 minutes of Edge of Darkness. To be quite honest, this movie is basically the same movie as Edge of Darkness. Both protagonists have their daughters killed. Both protagonists go searching for answers. Both protagonists' searches lead them to political intrigue and conspiracies, and that's your movie. Really the same thing, and while the movie sets up a really intriguing story and kind of a fresh take on this genre within that familiarity, the second half of the movie really relies heavily on action movie cliches, and the story just becomes lost. It gets really convoluted. Too bogged down, and I was lost after a while. I was just like, you didn't need all of this. Goes so all over the place in the final act, it's basically telling you that these terrorists are these guys, linked to this guy, who's linked to this guy, who works for this guy, who may or may not know this guy, who has friends that know this guy, who has friends of friends, who has more friends that work for this guy, who happens to be this dude's uncle. Like, too many plot twists all at once, plus boring political dialogue. I don't care about that. Is one instance of editing in this movie that is really jarring. Jackie Chan's character is in a bathroom. He's about to set off a bomb in a political office. The scene literally just jumps Like, it's almost like the movie freezes and then just jumps to the next frame. Like, you just see Jackie Chan just frozen, and then it just jumps to another thing in the bathroom, and I'm like, what the, what the fuck was that? It was terrible editing, and I just laughed out loud in that part. I'm like, this is 2 days from release, and this is what the editing looks like. I was like, I hope it's not like this throughout the rest of the movie. Luckily, it wasn't like that throughout the rest of the movie, but it was that one scene that really stuck out to me where I was like, that looked really, really bad. Scenes, though, when they go down, they go down. They are dirty, they are gritty, they are bloody, they are realistic. That was some real entertainment to watch, I will say that. And this movie has another fight in a stairwell. A lot of movies doing that now. Apparently, action directors want to film on stairwells. That's fine with me, I guess. Just don't make it a thing. Really enjoyed this movie. I was entertained by it. I think it's got replay value, especially when the political stuff comes in, because there's some stuff I may have missed just for a split second. You miss, honestly, split second, this political dialogue. You miss it. You might miss something important. So I'm probably going to revisit this again. It was really fun, entertaining, a lot better than I expected it to be, even though it is a bit cliche in the second half, and it also really feels like the same movie as Edge of Darkness. I enjoyed myself. I liked watching Jackie Chan kick ass as an old-ass man. That was pretty fun. Pierce Brosnan was cool. I am still going to go pretty high on this one. I'm going to give The Foreigner a B-. Watch this movie just get trashed. It's actually got a pretty high score on Rotten Tomatoes, but watch that score go down to like a 30%. Watch it get like a 30 out of 100 on Metacritic, and watch me be the only dude that actually likes this movie. I did not hate this movie. I feel like a lot of people are just gonna go into this movie and be like, it looks generic as hell, it was generic as hell, but, you know, I found enjoyment in it, and my goal with this channel is to be honest. If I told you I liked the Emoji Movie, and I really did, I would be honest with you. But that movie was a piece of stinking fucking garbage, so I didn't like it. Watch my review. You'll know I didn't like it. I would just like to say thank you for watching my review of The Foreigner, and thank you for sticking with me through this whole time. If you've been with me from the beginning, you're awesome. All my new viewers, you are awesome as well. Everybody is awesome. You can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, you're on YouTube, subscribe. At the end of this video, check out some past reviews I have done. And I'll see you next time. I have Geostorm next week. That should be fun. And I want to see The Snowman with Michael Fassbender. I don't know if that's a limited release, though. We'll see. Gonna try and squeeze those two in next week. I'll see you next time.